Okay. Share my screen. Okay. So we were somewhere in the middle of these questions about whereas it is the connective particle or the subject particle, and then gave two different understandings. And so for this time now, let me make a little bigger. Yeah. Okay, so this time when the Kempo was explaining, he himself, I didn't need to ask him anything in the audio. He himself explained it again. So the whole paragraph with the additions that are here in different shade of blue that we're going to go through, and he explained them as this one as being the subject particle or the agentive particle. Yeah, I'm using subject because I prefer to keep things simple, whereas because Tibetans don't speak about agentive particle one side and then the subject particle. For them, whether it is, let's say, the example that they give for making this the tool of doing the axe that so the woodsman, the person chops wood with an axe. So this in Tibetan you would have 2 times the same mark key, 2 times the subject particle. And so on top of that, then there are Western grammaticians who will say, oh, it's not actually 2 kinds of subject markers, but it's 2 different things. And Tibetan call it main subject and secondary subject. So for them, it's 2 kinds of things, Chepabu Palpato. And then Westerns turn it into one is the actual subject and the other one is something else. I don't remember. But to make it simple and to stick with how Tibetans do, then I just call subject. Doesn't really matter. So here, what the Kempo said is he himself started using it as if it was referring to reciting 100 times. And after that, when he went through all the paragraphs, he came back and said, well, actually, in the original text, we have only this. We don't have the sa, so we have a connective particle, but it should not be like that. He said it must be a subject particle, because we have on top, we have the subject particle for 21 times. Right after, we have the same subject particle with 1,000 times. So it makes more sense to understand it as being the subject particle here as well, because we have a kind of list going on, so some pattern, and that would bring the pattern. But he didn't affirm it, making it kind of very overtly, this is like this. He said it looks more likely to be like that. And yeah, this is something that we expect from Kempos, to give direction, but never give definitive answers. But I think this is still enough for us to base our interpretation and our translation on that. Okay. Yes, and just a remark on my own on the side. I think it's actually good that he doesn't kind of decide in a very clear manner that this is like this and this is like that, because it shows how he's finding it important to make sure that he may be mistaken at some point or another. So this is some way of accepting that he may not be right all the time, that there may be some weird context where this should not be explained like that, but from what he's seeing, it's most likely how it should be understood. So it's good to have. And actually, this is something that we have also experienced during the 2 months of pilot project. We have found that the Kempos who are deciding all at once and always have an answer for everything and never say, I don't know, were the ones who brought us the most problem because of their understanding that did not fit, let's say, commentaries that we search afterwards or explanations of others, etc. So it's actually a quality to see that he's not affirmative so much. He kind of takes some distance from what he's saying. Okay. Yes, so that's what he was saying about that. So it's most likely, it should be understood as the subject mark of the subject. And after that, when yes. Yes, and then when he was explaining here the so that allows us to never forget or distort the studies we have done. He explained that once again, and then what he said for not forget is what we have learned so what we had learned before, that's not to forget it, and for not distort, his explanation is that what we have learned before, it may happen that we understand it slightly differently later because of something happened in between. But here it's not that which is happening. So the understanding that we had, the correct understanding that we had at the beginning does not change into something that is not correct. So it is distort or change. But change in this context in English doesn't really work. Yeah. Okay, but that gives you the idea of what he was saying. Yes. And so here, he said tope. So because of obtaining this memory, then the four, then the four meditative magical limbs are born. Meditative concentration of the four magical limbs is born. So that's because that is here. So it's fine. In this. Yes, and so he also said that because of, so in short, he was kind of resuming what he was saying. If we recite it 100 times, then we'll have this courage of being sure about what we know that is going to be born in us. And so the qualities that we're also referring to before are going to, and that were already born in us, then will be completed. So it's the same qualities that we're referring in the 21 times and here the 100 times. For 21 times, these qualities are born, are developed in the first place, and here they are perfected. So I need to change the translation. Just don't change yes.
Change, you can put all maybe alter. You were looking for a better word.
Yes.
Alter. It's better.
Okay. What we have by reciting 100 times. 100 times, the mental consciousness form is born in us because of having obtained the memory now. Correct upon one in us. So it's perfect. Those qualities or these qualities, maybe, so this is just an addition of mine. It should not end up in the translation, but it's just to make sure that you understand that the qualities here are the same as we were referring to the previous amount of recitations. Okay, so he was saying that, by reciting 100 times for a given amount of time, then we'll have this courage of this assurance or this courage of knowing of knowing things that is going to be born in us, and then the qualities are going to be perfected. And he said, and then he said that the author of the commentary is explaining that since we'll have this unfading memory that is gained, then the magical limbs of the four magical limbs are going to be born in us. And he was saying that this is the four magical limbs are about the practice of meditation and practice of developing meditative concentration or developing samadhi. Yes, and so the four magical limbs are about, as he was saying, what type of default of the meditation we should get rid of and what we should not get rid of. So it's kind of explaining when we are developing this meditative concentration, what are the things that we should get rid of. And so that is the main purpose, the main objective focus of these four magical limbs. And Kim was saying that this is the practice of the great path of accumulation. And yes, and so enumerating the four limbs of the four magical limbs. The first one is the inspiration. Second one is diligence. Third one is thinking or something like that. And so, yeah, maybe we can check that in the text that from Lotsawa House. Yes, here. Lesser stage, intermediate is the four perfect abandonment. Yeah. So here, determination, dumpa. Yeah, enthusiasm. They interpret it as determination, but it literally means enthusiasm or inspiration. Enthusiasm. And they put also aspiration. Okay, so this is the first one. The next one is effort or exertion or diligence. Third one is, let me put it here, samba, attention, discernment. Yeah. Well, Campbell was quoting from memory, so yeah. I think these four should be the one that we're looking at. So attention and discernment. But anyhow, this is just his explanation. Doesn't end up in the commentary anyhow, just for us to know what's happening. And so, yes, he said once again, it was the practice of the great path of accumulation. And so making a summary, and the practice of the lesser path of accumulation is the four foundation, the four obligations of mindfulness. And then in the middling path of accumulation, it is the four foundations, four correct abandonments. Yeah, four correct and in the greater or great path of accumulation, it is these ones. So the four supports of miraculous ability, or the four magical limbs. Okay, so that's what he had to say about this. So we were right about this interpretation. And now comes the next part. Okay. Tongki. Ayantenki. Jile. Changkawan Tanjes. 좀 느비히럽지 왕보 등 thousand times 성공한 게 보통은 the faculty of intelligence or wisdom. Let's see how they translate it here. Greater stage. Faith. Wisdom. Yeah, to the power of wisdom. Okay. Faculty of wisdom. Based on the faculty of wisdom that is able to destroy all the obstructing factors 연등기질에 적용하다. 연등기질에 적용한 탐지는 is able to affect all the swing factors, which is the of the action to the action of the qualities. So we still are talking about the same qualities. And so Campbell was saying that we're still in the context of reciting 1,000 times per day for a certain amount of time. It's not the benefits of reciting it every day without stopping. And so this time for this paragraph here, so reciting them 1,000 times will have the effect that of getting us the five faculties. And so Campbell was saying that here that the five faculties are faith, diligence, attention, concentration, and wisdom. Let's see what they say here: faith, diligence, mindfulness, meditative concentration, and wisdom. Okay, yeah. And so out of these five, the one that is directly addressed, that is overtly addressed, not directly, but overtly addressed in this passage, is only the wisdom. We're not yet talking about the other four, but here the author of the commentary is first addressing the wisdom, the faculty of wisdom, and then he's going to talk about the others. Okay. And then so when we have this wisdom that is being developed in us, then we gain the faculty, or we have the power of doing whatever we want. It's not like we are depending on external causes, but we have the faculty, we have the power of actually doing what we want and the way we want. And if we have the faculty of dealing with any obstructing factor or any obstructing thing that happens and that would prevent us from doing what we want. So that's why they're called faculties here. Because we have this capacity of dealing with obstructing factors or contrary situations. Okay, and destroying here, as Campbell was saying, is to make them not exist anymore. So yes. Okay. So 동작을 하고서 넘버스나 실제 왕복 데라 sur가와 등健康 기경 터더 터메너베이 답당대천대 델러트 가와tan스. Okay, so let's first do that to make it easier. Within the etc. So this etc. Let's see where it is. It is somewhere up here before the start. The list actually starts. To be careful, the pensiero sul mio destro. Don't you change your thoughts and don't last all bus and get it on last all bus. So yes, here it is this etc. that he's talking about. So all in that with devotion and diligence, who form periods of as years and months, recite this very prayer every day, 1, 7 times, 20 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, etc. Within the way, with this in this way, then they will get the following benefits. So in the etc. that Jeme Khenze Wombo has put up here, then he is going to include some other things that we are seeing now. So within the etc. it's found. If one is able to recite it more than 1,000 times, 1,000 times, recite it more than 1,000 times, etc. So we have here etc. again. So more than 1,000 and it would be something like 10,000, and the etc. you have 100,000 and 1 million, etc. etc. So I don't know how to put that clearly in the translation. Maybe if I add in amounts bigger than 1,000, and so the etc. would be in 1,000 times. Yeah, I still don't have this idea that we are multiplying going on like from 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000, etc. I don't know how to put that. Able to recite it in successive bigger amounts, maybe. Successive amounts bigger than 1,000 times. Wambo de la sul garwatans. Yes. So this should go together here. Let's put it in brackets now. One will obtain the strength that can't be 처음 있는 관계죠. Can be defeated by anything, by any condition, any situation. When something obtain the strength of fighting back an obstructing factor and of being undefeatable by any condition. Yeah. Then here I can put adverse condition because Campbell was saying that kin here means obstacle. So it is not any condition, but something, and a condition that we don't want. Okay. So, yes. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 110 the strength of fighting back an obstructing factor. Here, the fighting back is literally what is said, but I don't know if that's the metaphor that we want to keep in the translation or not. This you will see. This goes together with the obstructing factor. So something makes an obstruction and you fight back. Okay. And yes, and so here, when she was saying that actually the strength here are not any different and then the 5 faculties that we have seen up here. It's just that these faculties are increasing in intensity, so they become strength. Because the faculties enable you not to be under the power of obstructing factors, and then the strength will enable you to fight back these obstructing factors. So it is, yeah, he's saying that there's nothing different in them. Okay. Yes, okay. So here, until here, we're talking about the strength of the faculty of wisdom and the strength of wisdom. So I made a mistake of using the plural here for strength. It is singular, since the strength of wisdom. Okay. And similarly, or they turn this as represented by this, meaning the faculty plus strength of wisdom. Similarly, is represented by this. What's in sentence? One will obtain the other faculties and strength, such as faith, and so okay. So Kimbo was explaining that here, when say as represented by this, then this shows that we are now moving to the 4 other faculties out of the 5. And 4 faculties and the 4 strengths later on. And so here are faith in the context of these 5 faculties. Campbell was explaining that it is to have this trust in the nature of all phenomena, and to have this intense aspiration or enthusiasm in training, in recognizing it. And so then Campbell was saying that depa or faith could be something like belief. Okay, so that's the English word that he found. And then the next one is diligence or effort. That was the one that I said, diligence, yes, okay. So diligence here is, like we all know, like Campbell was saying, the enthusiasm to do positive things, to do positive actions. So this is the definition coming from the Vajravatara. And then the next element, which is mindfulness, Trempa, it is what we have already known, not forgetting it and thinking over and over again in order not to forget. So this is mindfulness in this context. And then here, the next one, which is meditative concentration, is what we are mindful of, so what we are not forgetting, to make it so that it remains and it maintains itself without, in a continuity, without ever ceasing. And so this is what is meant by this concentrative meditative concentration, tingedzin or samadhi. In this context, is to be able to maintain continuously, without stopping, the object of what we are mindful of, which is the one that we do not forget. Okay, then yes, and so this samadhi is the ability to stay focused in a single point on what we are mindful of. So that is for the meditative concentration. And then the last one, which is the wisdom. Campbell was saying it is to check whether, or to analyze, it is the mind that analyzes, or the thoughts that analyze, whether what we're meditating upon in this samadhi is actually correct or not. So this is the analytical part, so the wisdom. And so, yes, and then when Campbell was talking about these faculties, then he was once again saying that it is the practice of the path of accumulation. And after that, we have the after the path of accumulation, we have the path of application, which is 4 part of application, 4 subdivisions: the heat and the peak, and then bearing and supreme phenomena. And so on the first 2 ones, so the first 2 parts
Sorry,
of...
Drupshan, I didn't understand the first.
Yes, so you'll see here that, okay, a stage of the 4 stages of the path of joining, or the start of application, is a stage of the warmth, summit, acceptance, and some supreme attribute.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can find it there. And the first 2, so this is the 5 faculties and the 5 strengths are also the practice of the first 2 stages, the one of the warmth and the summit. And then he was saying that for the last 2 ones, acceptance and supreme attribute, then it is the 5, only the 5 strengths. Okay. Change tendance. Okay, yeah, time for the pause now. See you in 10 minutes.
Yes, see you.
Okay, so we're still in the enumeration of the qualities that we gain by reciting 1,000 times. And so continuing, yeah, this one will obtain in brackets. I don't know if we're going to need it at the end, but it's just to make the meaning clear. Seven elements of enlightenment. Let's see how they translate here. Enlightenment factors. Factors of enlightenment. Okay. And okay. So here for these 7 factors of enlightenment, Campbell was saying that during the 3 different levels or stages of the path of accumulation and during the 4 stages of the path of application, then the nature of things or emptiness is only realized through inferring. So it's not a direct realization. It is something that looks like direct realization, but is not. It's not direct. It's not yet the real realization of emptiness. And it is when we reach the part of seeing that we actually see directly the emptiness. And it is at that time that the 7 factors of enlightenment will be practiced. And Campbell was saying that it is an important point in the practice, important moment in the practice of someone on the path, and because it is the moment that distinguishes when he is out of samsara and became a sublime being. So when it's the border between samsara and the bhumis and what is outside samsara. Yes, and so the 7 are. Yes, let's just read through them here. So Campbell was saying mindfulness, diligence, joy, mental and physical pliancy. So they add actually in the Campbell was saying just pliancy, not mental and physical, but it implies both. And then samadhi and equanimity, yeah, equanimity. That looks good. Okay, so these are the 7 factors of enlightenment. Okay. Paulam Yanake Lasova Lobatam. Again, we're still in the enumeration, so the qualities of the path of training, such as the eightfold path, eightfold noble path. Let's see how they translate that here. Noble eightfold path. Palam Yanakis. Yeah, and so to know actually what should come in front, either eightfold or noble path, I would actually put noble beside path because it is noble path that is in 8, or I don't know. Yeah. Eightfold noble path. Like yes, to the noble path that has 8 parts, right? Eightfold noble path. And the way that they have put it, it means the 8 parts of the path that is noble. Yeah, so in order to make sure how to put this, then we should look at an explanation like in the Abhidharma or somewhere else. Let's see after if we need that or not. But for now, yeah. Okay. And so Kimball was saying that this is yes, Eightfold Noble Path is practice belonging to the path of training or the path of meditation. I don't know how they put it here, path of meditation. So let's put here. Yeah, Gomlam, path of meditation. Okay, and so the Eightfold Noble Path was, again, we'll have the words here in English. So the correct view, the correct intention, correct speech, correct action, correct livelihood, correct effort, correct mindfulness, and correct concentration. Okay. Digital. Yes. Okay. Melopeyanten. Abaton. Mebaton. Tepper. Curateros. Obtain all infinite qualities yeah, literally one will obtain or one become endowed with all the infinite qualities of path of no more learning. Let's see how they translate this no more learning. And yes, no more learning. Okay. So yes. And the reason why we have this milobelam is because we have an opposition. So the path of learning and the path of no more learning. The path of learning is everything that comes before. And then when you don't have to learn anything or practice anything, then this is the path of no more learning, where you don't need to improve anything more. So basically, like Campbell was saying, no more learning means that you are fully enlightened already. And at that point, then you'll have an infinite amount of qualities. Some, like you can generally categorize all these infinite qualities in the qualities that are common to other levels and other sublime beings or to ordinary beings, and qualities that are specific to enlightened beings. So this is a very rough way of distinguishing between two types of qualities that there is. And then Campbell was also citing the major marks and the minor marks, and the 18 specific qualities of enlightenment, and the 10 strengths of the Tathagatas, etc. So all of these are the qualities out of the infinite qualities of the path of no more learning. Okay, yeah. So here we have once at the end, at the very end, we have this when will obtain, which is why it's not in under brackets. But then up there in each of the elements of the enumeration, it is implied, it's not there. So maybe a solution when making the communicative version is to start the whole enumeration with one will obtain, become endowed with, then the enumeration of these quantities. So we'll only have to put it once, just like in the source text. Okay, so this is up to where I listened. So like I said last week, I wanted to prepare before, but I was not able to do that this time. So I have to listen again and then come back to you.